Hi guys, welcome to another of my videos. This video is a little bit different because I'm not actually going to be doing any nail designs or anything on this one. This one is purely really aimed at beginner nail technicians, and it's how to build the strength and structure of your nails, getting the correct apex and making sure that your nails aren't too thick towards the end. Because ideally, the free edge of your nail should be no more thick than a credit card. So if they're any thicker than that, then you've got bulky nails, and then bulky nails, they make it harder for your client to pick things up and also harder to really do anything. So we're going to start off with where you would place your apex. So there's different places that you would place your apex depending on the length of the nail. So the way that I would normally get my students to find out where they put their apex, you can't really see on my nails because I have a cover pink, but if any of you don't have any acrylic or gel on your nails, the best way to see where to place your apex is to press on your nails like this, and where you would see around here, this would change colour. So when you put pressure, this will go kind of like white, and that is your stress area. So your apex is often referred to as the stress area as well. So you don't want your apex to be completely, really too high or anything like that. You want a nice well balanced nail, and you can probably see with my nails that I've got it's nice and flush at the cuticles, and then it slightly goes up because this is my stress area, and then it'll go back down towards the free edge. So there's different ways as well that you can apply your acrylic. You can apply it in the usual 3-ball method. So we do our free edge bead, then we do our apex bead, and then we would do our cuticle bead. But as you go on and you gain more confidence, you can do a 1-ball bead method, and that is just lifting one large bead of acrylic, and starting at the cuticle area, you would bring it down to the free edge. Sometimes it depends as well in what products that you're working with. So the products I'm working with today are from Glitterbels, as normal, because you all know I love Glitterbels. So there's different cover powders that you can get with Glitterbels, and a few of them you can actually do a 1-ball method with, because especially the likes of your nude blush cover and your cashmere cover, they cure really quickly. So if you were to try and do a 1-ball method with those, it would just spell disaster. So the likes of those I would do in the three steps. So you always have your free edge, your apex, and your cuticle. Now that's really for a nail this length. Whenever you start to do long stiletto nails or long coffin ballerina nails, sometimes the 3-bead method is out the window because literally the nails are too long. So it really doesn't matter if you take 5 beads, 10 beads, it doesn't matter. What matters at the end is that you have a perfectly balanced and structured strong nail. So let's get on to the acrylic application. So on this one, we'll start off in this one. So this one we're going to do our 3-bead method, because it is kind of like a slightly longer nail that you wouldn't normally find in the salon. A lot of clients that come into the salon, they're doing everyday tasks, washing, cleaning, changing beds, everything, and to have long nails like this just isn't, it's too hard for them to do those things. I do those things, but then I'm used to wearing my long nails, and if I have a breakage, I can fix it practically, straight away. So yeah, for someone like me, I can go ahead and I can wear long nails. But so this one here would probably be more the length that you would get in a standard salon, your everyday clients. The likes of these ones here would tend to be the younger ones if they're going on holiday or something, they want something a bit different. So we're going to start off with this one, and I'm going to do the 3-bead method. So I'm dipping my brush into my monomer. I'm making sure that I have all the air bubbles out. So this is all often referred to as burping your brush. So it's like getting all the air out. So once I do that, I just brush up once. fact, I didn't actually show you this. Hold on, I put this in frame and show you. Okay, so here's my liquid. So to burp your brush, you're going to immerse your brush completely in. Make sure that you've got no air bubbles or anything. And then I wipe out once. So I'm going to do the 3 bead method with, this one is the nude blush cover. This one is plush cover. This one's pink opal, and this is snowdrops white. So 3 bead, I'm going to use the nude blush because this is one of the ones that cures quite quick. So I think it's probably a good one to show you the reason why you can't really do a full 1 bead method with this one. So you're going to hold it into your your powder for like 3 seconds. So you want your bead to be nice and glossy like this. Tap out if there's any extras. So you're going to place this on here and pat it into place. Okay, so pat, 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 slide, pat, pat, slide, pat, pat, slide. So that is your cuticle. Or not your cuticle, that's your free edge. Okay. So next bead, this is going to be our apex. So again, 1, 2, 3. Let's pick up a little bit more. Okay, nice and glossy. We're going to place that on here. So look at the angle of my brush. It's at 45 degrees. And I'm now going to slide it and connect it with that free edge bead. Okay. And then into our cuticle bead. So this bead is going to be set here just before the cuticle, and this will be your smallest one. Okay. So we're just going to set it here before the cuticle. We're going to push it back. Look at the angle of my brush, it's 45 degrees. And we're going to brush it into that apex bead. So if we do a side view of this nail, let me turn my hand. So you can see, I hope you can see, let me just check. So we can see our cuticle is nice and flush, and we're starting to get higher, which is our apex, and then we'll start to get lower again towards the free edge. So that is the 3 bead method. I'll go ahead and I'll do a 1 bead method on this nail, and I'm going to do it with the pink opal. This is like my go-to powder whenever I'm doing clients' infills, or a client if they're having just you know, their nails extended and gel polish. I would normally just use the pink opal. It's so easy to work with, and you can basically use it for anything. It's so good. Right, so brush in my monomer, wipe out. So this is going to be quite a big bead that you're going to pick up. So tap off any excess. So with this one, we're going to start up towards the cuticle area. So you're going to push it. Okay, so you can see why I'm using pink opal for this rather than the nude blush cover, because you definitely have got more time to work and play with. I'm just going to with the pink opal. So you're going to use the belly of your brush, and that's what's going to bring it down to the free edge. Okay, I do need to add just a slight bit there on the free edge. So it literally is just a small amount. So I'm going to put my brush at this angle. And I'm going to brush it up into that. So it's not doing anything really for the apex or anything. It is basically just for the free edge. Okay, we'll turn it to the side. I don't want my nails to get in the way and smudge it. So again, you're flush at the cuticle, we've got our slight apex, and then we're going thinner again at the free edge. Okay, so this one is a stiletto. So again, the apex in the stiletto, so if you look at the apex on our shorter nails, so the apex is here on this nail, and it's here on this nail. So with the, I think you can kind of see where the stress area is with this. You can see where we're pressing down, so our stress area is around here. So the longer the nail, the further back you need to put your apex or your stress area. So because I'm going to be using more than one bead, I'm not going to do this in one bead, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to use my nude blush cover. I think it's easier for you to see the apex in that. So again, brush into our monomer, one wipe off. Okay, so it's thinner at the edge here, so I'm going to put it this way. This is just how I would do it, you know. I'm not saying that this is the right way or the wrong way. This is just how I do it. So our next bead, this isn't your apex bead, we haven't got there yet. This is just because these nails are so long. This is just getting product onto the bottom part of the nail. A little bit down here. So the acrylic has come so far. Whenever I started out doing nails all those years ago, the acrylic was just, it didn't self-level, it was so chunky. Oh my goodness, it was really, you know, it didn't have, our monomer wasn't this color, it was clear. And your acrylic used to go like yellow. So this is the apex bead, so I'm going to drain out my liquid and I'm going to place it on. So again, I'm holding my brush at 45 degrees. Okay, I'm just blending that down into the rest. So we're going to finish with the cuticle bead. Okay, I'm going to drain out the excess and pop it on. so we'll turn it to the side. So, can you see? So our apex is back ever so slightly. So because of the length of this nail, we actually need to make the apex just that little bit higher. Okay, so I'm going to go in on this angle. I'm going to brush this back up towards that apex. Okay, so just adding that extra one again, we still need to put a little bit more up in here. This is what I'm saying, you don't worry about a 3 bead method or a 1 bead method. If you're working with long nails, it is going to take you more than 1 bead or more than 3 beads. Again, there's nothing to say that if you're using more beads that you're doing it wrong. You're not. It's what's working best for you. And like I say, this is just the way I do it. You know, you may not agree, but everybody's different. Okay, so if we turn it to the side, we've got a little slump here, just where this free edge bit is just going up slightly higher. So on a stiletto nail, I kind of like, basically I like my acrylic to go almost like a ramp, if you know what I mean. It's like, I'll turn this to the side and show you now. So it goes from the height and it just levels right out so that the tip here is more or less in line with our apex. So that's where I would place the apex on a stiletto nail. And for me and my clients, this is the best structure. So, onto the index finger, and I thought I would go over a little baby boomer. So we're going to use Snowdrops White and Plush Cover. So again, I'm not even going to say I'm going to do this in 3 beads because I'm not. I'm just going to show you how I would do it. So I always like to get the feathering bit done first. And you can see just that acrylic just wants to start leveling out and heading towards our free edge. Oops, other stuff stuck in there. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit more. The Snowdrops White is really, really nice to work with when you're doing baby boomers, or you can do your own mix. And you'll see in a lot of my videos I have like mixed up my own soft white. So I've done clear acrylic mixed with white acrylic, and that gives you a nice soft white, which is perfect for your baby boomers. But for this video I'm just going to use the Snowdrops White. So if I'm doing any type of ombre, I always like to have the acrylic, the first colour of acrylic, I like it to be cured, so that when I do my ombre, it's not mixing with the colour, it's ombreing over the colour. because I find sometimes if you do it when it's not cured, that you just get a mix. You don't actually get that really, really nice ombre. So as well, you can tell that you've got enough on your free edge if you can't like bend your nails, or you can't squeeze the tips together. You know, sometimes if you don't have enough, you can squeeze the tip, but if you can do that, then you know that you haven't got enough acrylic on. Okay, so we're starting to mattify, and that is normally where I would go ahead and place my ombre transition color. So we're going to go in with the plush cover. So when I'm doing the ombre, I work quite wet. So this is the plush cover. So I go in at the cuticle and I brush down. Too much. So when I'm doing like a baby boomer nail, I always give my clients the option: do they want more white or do they want more pink? This one is more or less half and half. So I always like to get that ombre done first. You can't really see too much with this plush cover. Probably not the best one to use. Okay, so we haven't built our apex, so we need to go in and build our apex. So you can go in and you can build your apex with clear, or you can go in and build it with the plush cover. I'm going in and doing it with the plush cover. Okay, and then when I'm doing a baby boomer, if I find, I always go in with a clear over it just to protect the ombre, because if we don't, even though these are core powders, if we don't protect our ombre, we will file through it, and your nail won't look right. So I'm going in with glass slippers. I'm just going to protect that ombre. So I built my apex with my plush cover, so this literally is just to protect the ombre. I'm just bringing this down just to strengthen up the free edge, but at the same time not having it too thick. So the more work that you can do with your brush, obviously the less filing you will have to do at the end. So I actually think that tip that I put in is way too small. Okay, let's get some filing and shaping done. always wipe my brush out before I put it away. Make sure all the acrylic's out of it. And pop it on the cap. So while I'm waiting on those curing, I'll go ahead and I will close up our acrylic, and then I'll come back to do the filing. Okay, so on to the filing and shaping. So we know that they're cured because you can get that tap tap. So my filing routine, we'll start on this one, is I always start at the sidewalls. Let me just put these ones down. So sidewalls, if your sidewalls aren't straight, your nails will never be straight. So and I always would put my fingers here to protect your client's skin, so that you're not going over your client's skin. And sometimes whenever I've been really busy, I'll get like red marks here and here. You can actually see some red marks. So that's how I know I'm protecting my clients. So my file is completely straight and level. Okay, so that's one side. Okay, so again, we'll protect our client's skin. So that's your sidewalls. So the next thing that I would go to, so we can see that they're nice and straight. So I next would go to the lower arch. So this is your lower arch. So you want to make sure that it's coming out nice and straight and in line with your client's natural free edge. So my file is held flat. And then again, you'll see how flat my file is on this side. So that's your lower arch. Okay, after I've done that, I go to my free edge. And if I'm doing ballerina, square, coffin, I want my nails to be nice and straight. So I hold my file like this. And I go up and down. And that's how I know that I've got a nice straight free edge. So after that, I normally go up around the cuticle area. So I'm always working in an upward motion up towards where your apex is. And my file is completely flat against the acrylic. So up towards the apex. Okay, and then around the cuticle, I'll make sure it's nice and flush. Okay, so now I'm going to file over the rest of the nail. Okay, so we've kept our apex in place, and I'm now going over the rest of the nail. So I'm always working up towards that apex. So you can see the apex itself hasn't been filed over. Okay, now I'm going to go over my apex and just smooth it out. And I'll always finish any of my filing off with my buffer. So there's two sides to your buffer. So you've got a rougher side, which is 100, and a 180, which is slightly smoother. So I always start off with my 100. So you can work a bit faster with this, so the buffer isn't going to harm your client's skin or anything like that. Because you really want to give it a good buff over and make sure it's nice and smooth. Again, even when I'm buffing, I'm going up towards that apex. Okay, that's that one done. So stilettos, I love filing stilettos, I really do. So again, with the stiletto, I make sure the sidewalls are straight, so it's exactly the same. My file is completely flush, and the same on the other side. So I'll go to my lower arch, the same as my ballerina nail. The only difference that I do with a stiletto nail is I do not do the free edge until the end. So I'm going to go around my cuticle area. So sometimes I do this for my students, I'll show you. So I'll mark out where the apex is. So they should be able to file over the whole of the nail, and this will still be intact until you come to the very, very end. Again, I'm always filing up towards that apex. There's not a lot of filing really in stiletto nails. They're quite easy to file. So when I'm looking at this nail, I'm making sure that it's not bulky here, that it's still within the sidewalls. So to me, it's a bit bulky on this side. Call them the hips. If your hips are big, you need to reduce them. Okay, you can see I still haven't went over that apex area, so my apex is still in place. Okay, now I'm going to go for my apex. I've definitely put nails in, tips in that are too small. I think this is something that I have discovered sometimes with the hand dolly. It can stretch, so sometimes after you've been using it for a while, you need to start using bigger size tips. Okay, and then finish off again with my buffer. Just want to make sure that it's going into a nice point. This is why I like to leave the point to the very, very end. And that's our stiletto nail. This is our 3 bead. So again, same filing routine. Protect your client's skin and nice and straight up. This is slightly tapered. Okay, lower arch. You can see even straight away just how it tidies up the nail when you do the lower arch. Okay, so free edge. So you can see at the minute, I hope you can see at the minute. Let me turn it around this way. You should be able to see. So our free edge at the minute is kind of thick. So we need to file and shape that. So again, you've got your apex, you're going to file up towards your apex. Go around the cuticle. So I always have the full file in contact with the nail, so I'm not, this whole part is in contact with the nail. Straighten it up. Okay, so I'm always looking to see that my nail is symmetrical. I don't know what I've done with hands. That's better. Oh my god, it's a bit better. Happy enough with that. So I'm looking down the barrel of the nail, I'm looking at the free edge, and I'm just looking to see that it's all nice and even. So I can see just a little bit here. I need to file just a little bit more. So this is why you want to look at the nails from all different directions when you're filing it, and you also want to turn your hand around so you can see it. So you can see it from your client's perspective as well, because whenever so we're doing the nails like this and we're looking at it, but when your client looks at it, they might be seeing it from a different angle and they can see any lumps and bumps. So I always would turn my client's hands around and would look at it from this angle, just so that I can see that it's nice and level and there's no obvious lumps and bumps. Obviously it's much easier to do it when you're doing it on a real hand rather than my hand dolly. Okay, buffer. I've definitely put tips in that are too small. Okay, so I'm just making sure that's level, straight. Okay, good. So this was the one bead, one that we did with the pink opal. So this usually is the ideal length that your salon clients would get. So all my filing routine is exactly the same, no matter what shape or anything that your nails are. So I'll even file this one into an almond shape for you. So again, even with the almond shape, you need to make sure that your sidewalls are straight. And then I just start to curve it round. It's almost like if you think of an invisible line going down the centre of your nail, you want to bring the first rounded edge to that centre part. So look at the angle of my file, it's working at like 45 degrees, so that's 45, yeah. And then I'm going to go to the other side, and again I'm going to angle it round. Okay. So that's how I would change the shape of a nail from a square to an almond, and then I would just continue to do my normal filing routine. Okay, again working up towards the apex. Again, this is how I would do it, this is how I teach my students to do it. Not everybody is going to agree, but I hope that it has helped somebody doing this video. Because that's why I started this channel, to try and help others. Okay, and onto my buffer. unbend all these fingers. It goes all shapes. Let's fix your ring. Can't have your ring soft day. Okay, let's give them all a dust. And then before we do our top coat, we will apply some alcohol and just wipe over and remove any dust. Okay. So on this stiletto nail, I'm going to go in with Glitterbels Psycho and Sweet. Just to, I love a long painted stiletto. Love it. Okay, and then top coat, Glitterbels. We'll do the almond coloured as well. I think it just helps to show the shape. It's a gorgeous colour. That's a gorgeous colour, I love it. So that's just one coat of it. I'm going to pop that into the lamp and cure. I'll be back in a second. On to second coat. This is where you can really see the colour. How gorgeous that colour. So I always place it just before the cuticle, and then I kind of like push up towards the cuticle, so I'm not flooding it. So this will be easier to let you see kind of how thick the free edge is, as well as the colour on them. So I'm just going to cure them. Now we're going to finish it off just with top coat over the rest of them. This is a nude blush cover even, which you can just use this as a colour on its own or for the base of a French. It's just such a really nice colour. And there we go. Just going to cure this and we'll be back in a minute. And here's the finished nails. So we'll see the thickness of them. So no thicker than a credit card. Okay, we look down the way your client would see them. And they're nice and straight, nice and level. And then we'll go to our apex. And you can see our apexes are in place. So I hope this video has helped. If there's anything else you'd like me to go over, just pop it in the comments below. and I will do my best to get it done for you. And I'll see you all in the next video, so take care, see you soon, bye.